You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. John Novacek, a versatile, Grammy-nominated pianist who has performed across the Americas, Europe, Asia, and Australia. A lauded recitalist and in-demand soloist, he's been heard on some of the grandest stages with the greatest of orchestras, live, over the radio, on TV, and online. A sought-after collaborator, he's a regular on the festival circuit, performing as part of New York's mostly Mozart Festival, California's Festival Mosaic, with other stints in Aspen, Cape Cod, Seattle, Toronto, Ottawa, in addition to festival performances in Switzerland, Spain, Germany, France, Japan, and now Winnipeg. As part of the Agassiz Chamber Music Festival, John has joined me in the Classic 107 studio. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here, Simon.
Great to have you. And like Austis, Valdemar Stater, and Mick Sterling, who were in studio with me yesterday as part of Agassiz, you too are a first-time visitor to Winnipeg.
First time. Just absolutely great being here.
Well, delighted to have you. We started this conversation off with a little bit of your music, a rag titled Recuperation. And summer, a time when musicians often recuperate after busy winter months spent performing and teaching, in your case at the Mannes School in New York, where you're on faculty. Did you get a bit of time to recuperate at all, John, before diving into Agassiz Festival?
You know, the summer festivals, they start pretty quick after the season ends. So it's kind of a good 3-4 month stint of festival time, but it's downtime as well as work time. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, a little bit of work, a little bit of play. There's something special about summer festivals, isn't there?
Summer festivals are great. There's such a camaraderie between the musicians. You get to see these musicians sometimes only once a year, so it's a real coming together. But it is hard work because you might play 3 or 4 concerts a week and there are no repeats. It's not like being on tour. You play a different program every couple of nights.
We're going to be getting to the sheer number of concerts you're playing in just a moment's time. But a couple of weeks back, we welcomed Paul Marlene virtually to chat about this year's iteration of Agassiz. And of course, Paul Marlene, artistic director of the festival, and he described you as a, quote, super creative guy. And I played that selection to not only showcase your great prowess at the keyboard, but also your compositional skill. You do a little bit of everything, don't you?
Well, I'm eclectic in my taste. That's certainly kind of Paul to phrase it that way. But I just enjoy doing a lot of things and hearing a lot of things. So I've always been a composer as well as a pianist. And so that's one aspect of my composition, writing ragtime. And also I write regular concert works, had a clarinet trio performed recently. So it's, I guess, I like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, can't fault you for that. And we actually got to hear a little bit of your composition in your first Agassiz performance that took place on Monday. It was a show that featured you playing along to a Buster Keaton film, The Scarecrow. For those who weren't there, can you describe what it was exactly you played?
Yes, I can try. You know, I love film. I'm a film buff, and particularly silent film, the great silent film clowns like Harold Lloyd, Chaplin, Keaton. And so this was a short Keaton film from 1920 called The Scarecrow, as you mentioned. And basically, this is not something I'm one of the great world's experts at film accompaniment. I know some of them personally, and it's an incredible craft. But I enjoy doing this sometimes. Sometimes I write fully composed scores for ensembles. In this case, I was providing the piano background, mostly drawing on my own rags and other pieces like that, with little scraps from composers such as Chopin and other for some of the dramatic scenes, and just sort of providing assistance to the pacing of the film or the changes of scene. And these films are just still so fresh and absolutely brilliant that these comedic geniuses created.
You mentioned the craft that is accompaniment to silent film. Of course, that used to be a full-time job, a theater pianist, and you mentioned how these things kind of come together, whether they were performing popular tunes of the day or drawing on the back catalogs of, I don't know, Chopin or whatever it happens to be. What got you into accompanying silent films? Was it film first for you? Were you a film buff, or was it the musical side of it?
Well, I loved film. I also had a very good friend, Robert Israel, who is one of those sort of authorities on film accompaniment and has composed full symphonic scores for things like Stroheim's 10-hour version of Greed and incredible movies like this. And so I used to go to screenings of those all the time in Los Angeles. And so that really developed my taste for the film. And just when I get a chance, I'd like to play for one of these films. And so that kind of kick-started me.
And it also kickstarted your Agassiz festival experience, a busy one, to say the very, very least. You're back at it tonight with a concert that is titled Four-Plate Cello plus one more, you at the piano, I suppose. Have you ever performed with so many cellists in a chamber music setting, not a symphonic one?
Oh, I guess not really. I just thought of something in Japan once. I played Chopin F minor concerto with a cello orchestra, but I guess that's sort of a symphonic. Yeah, someone reduced the part for just cello. I mean, cello is amazing because of the range. You really can get away with playing a full symphonic work and just not miss all the colors because it has such an expressive and purely musical range. But this will be fun. I'm more in the background tonight, but it's just a wonderful little Handel sonata that they're playing, a trio sonata arranged for the two cellists that Paul and Mick will be playing. But they're doing everything from Piazzolla to Lennon-McCartney, and a very fun show, I think.
Menotti to Metallica, Bach to Bacharach. There's a lot to dive into. I even noticed there was a little Scott Joplin on there, a little Maple Leaf Rag.
I saw that too. I look forward to hearing that arrangement, definitely.
With very keen ears, I'm sure. It's always a festival favorite, the Four-Plate Cello. Speaking of favorites, everyone's favorite elephant, Babar, and his story will be told by Andrew Ratuski, a favorite voice here in town, with yourself at the keyboard performing that music of Francis Poulenc. That's Thursday afternoon at 4, tomorrow afternoon. Is this a story you've told before?
Well, to my daughter many times. We've gone through those Babar books, but this is a fantastic piece that Poulenc wrote. Apparently, one of his young cousins came up to him while he was playing at the house and said, "This is boring, play this," and just stuck the book in front of him, and he thought, "Oh, this is a good idea." And strongly encourage you to bring the kids to this one. We're also sort of projecting some of those wonderful images from Jean de Brunoff on the screen, and Poulenc just wrote fantastic music, and of course with Andrea, you can't beat that with her giving us the story. So it's a real treat anytime I get to play this.
Like you say, it's one of those works that's just fun for the whole family. Young or old, it is just one of those that is a timeless tale. And if you haven't heard the piano accompaniment, I mean, it's a ton of fun. I mean, there's so much to go on in this music.
Oh, it's fantastic. And you can't imagine any other score
somehow
once you've played it.
It's very, very true. And as if that wasn't enough, you're back at it tomorrow evening, performing the third and last of the Grieg violin sonatas with Oleg Pokonovsky. Do you want to say a quick word on the Grieg? I'm not sure where to begin there. I mean, we get to hear all three of them tomorrow night, which is a pretty cool opportunity.
Yeah, that's a real treat. The other pianist, Paul Williamson, will be playing on the first two. The third is something I've enjoyed playing over the years. I've even recorded that one. And it's at one time it was apparently one of the real great hits. I mean, there's a classic recording of Rachmaninoff and Chrysler playing it, but it's a beautiful one of the Grieg masterworks, really, and a dramatic, strong C minor piece. The full three movements, a glorious second movement, beautiful theme, which the piano gets to present first. Nice
the pianist always likes to point that out. Yeah.
Yes, but it's a wonderful piece. So that also will be a concert I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, like you say, really the most popular, I think, in the set of three.
Probably,
and it's got that it's got that Grieg nationalism in it, but it looks almost beyond that with this broad sense of romanticism. It really is a wonderful work. And again, you'll be with Oleg Pokonovsky in that. You get a well-deserved night off on Friday, I think, unless I missed you on the program. I think.
I'll take it.
Yeah, otherwise you might pop up on the stage. And then there is a festival finale that takes place on Saturday, featuring composers with Argentinian, Azerbaijani, and African roots. I know you've got a lot of music that you've got in your head right now, John. Do you know what you'll be performing on Saturday, or have you made it there yet?
I actually do.
Oh, there we go.
I got this one. Yes, because Paul did ask if I would play some Clara Schumann. And I've played some Clara Schumann before, the trio, which is a wonderful piece. Never done any solo, so I learned some of these romances.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yes, these beautiful Opus 11 romances, and a composer that we're appreciating more and more. These are just wonderful pieces. And then at the other end of the concert, at the end, we'll be playing something that is well known, one of the great chamber music masterworks, the Brahms Quintet.
What a treat. What a treat.
Right.
I mean, this is just this is the joy of Agassiz. There's just so much music to enjoy in, well, such a tight timeline. And I know for you, that is a very demanding timeline, but it still is so gratifying nonetheless, right? Just to make music with friends as chamber music is, right?
Oh, it's the best. I mean, chamber music, there's nothing like it. So no complaints here. It's wonderful to be able to do something like this.
Well, no complaints indeed. Certainly making the most of your time here at Agassiz. Still plenty of opportunities to see you up on the CMU Laudamus Auditorium stage. So appreciate you taking the time to come by the studio this morning, John.
My absolute pleasure.
We're going to end this with a little bit more of your playing, a selection from the Hindemith Viola Sonata. Just a wonderful recording this is of yours. And just before I press play, let me say, if you'd like to see John Novacek joined by 5 cellists, that's the way I'm supposed to word that, I think, John, right? You and 5 cellists? Yeah,
yes,
we'll bill it that way.
Very well, yes.
You can give us a call on the classic line if you haven't won in the last 30 days. A pair of tickets for 4-play cello plus 1 at CMU Laudamus Auditorium. The show begins at 7:30 p.m. The number to call, 204-336-1071.